Can you see it on your phone? Well, it's not up here. So.
Good morning. I will call to order this special session of the Kansas Supreme Court. We sit in special session this morning as Kenyon J. Wall, also better known as KJ Wall, takes his oath of office as a justice of the Kansas Supreme Court. I am Marla Lukert, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and I have the honor of administering the oath and welcoming our newest justice to the bench. Soon after Justice Wall was appointed by Governor Laura Kelly, we began to discuss when this ceremony would take place. It was in the middle of our transitioning to remote work because of the onset of the pandemic. Justice Wall and I talked about the situation and said, let's try for the first week of August. We were pretty confident that by then we would be able to have the traditional swearing in that justices usually enjoy. Justices usually are sworn in the Kansas Supreme Court courtroom, filled with current and past Supreme Court justices, Court of Appeals judges, federal judges, Kansas District Court judges, members of the legislative and executive branches, law-related organizations, and of course, and always most importantly, family and friends of the new justice. And then we would even have an overflow audience where we were doing live streaming, but it would be for those in the building who didn't have room to get into our courtroom. So much has happened since we made that decision. In the interim, Justice Wall has become involved in helping the court with many administrative responsibilities. And we had also planned to hold our first live in-person oral arguments in several months with Justice Wall as a member of the court during this week. But current COVID case numbers led us to change those plans. In historic fashion, we thus hold these proceedings with only some members of the Kansas Supreme Court present, while other justices and invited guests are invited remotely. Except we are pleased to have Justice Wall's wife, Katie, his children, Kenyon and Lily, with us today. We welcome them to our court family. At some future date, we hope to welcome more of Justice Wall's family and friends to an in-person ceremony and reception. But today, I welcome all of you who are watching on our Supreme Court Live channel. Despite this unusual setting, today remains an exciting day for Justice Wall, for his family and his friends, for the state of Kansas, for the Kansas Supreme Court, and for all those who are dedicated to the administration of justice in our great state. Today marks the culmination of a judicial selection process through which Justice Wall was nominated and appointed to fill the position vacated by the retirement of Chief Justice Lawton Nuss. I want to thank members of the Supreme Court Nominating Commission for their hard work in reviewing all of the applications, vetting and interviewing candidates. Commissioners spend countless hours as they investigate applicants and undertake the difficult process of nominating potential members of the court for the governor's consideration. I also want to thank the Honorable Laura Kelly, the 48th governor of our great state, who appointed Justice Wall. Governor Kelly could not be personally present today as she is speaking at a memorial service, but she sends a written message that I would like to share with you. Dear attendees, while I regret that I am unable to join you for today's ceremony, I wanted to send a note of congratulations to KJ for the distinguished, well-deserved honor of being sworn in as the newest justice on the Kansas Supreme Court. During the justice selection process earlier this year, KJ immediately stood out as an exemplary candidate. He embodies all of the qualities that a Supreme Court justice should, from experience and impartiality to patience and empathy. As many of you know, KJ grew up in Scott City, Kansas, and earned his bachelor's degree in communications from Kansas State University before going on to the University of Minnesota to earn a master's degree in rhetoric. Later, he moved to Colorado and set up law practices in Denver before returning to Kansas. We could have lost KJ to those far off places, but he came home, and today he reaffirms his commitment to the state of Kansas, to the law, and to the cause of justice. I know that on the Supreme Court, he will hear cases fairly and impartially, but never forgetting that the law is about people. Kansas will reap the reward of his service to the judiciary and to our state for years to come. Congratulations, KJ. Respectfully, Laura Kelly, Governor of Kansas. I would now like to recognize Assistant Secretary of State Catherine Gonzalez, who will present the certificate of Justice Wall's appointment to the Kansas Supreme Court.
I, Laura Kelly, Governor of the State of Kansas, hereby appoint and commission Keenan J. Wall, Jr. as Justice of the Kansas Supreme Court and authorize this appointee to discharge the duties of this office upon fulfilling all legal requirements. Signed this 11th day of March, 2020.
Thank you, Assistant Secretary. At this point in the ceremony, in the traditional sense that I've spoken of, I would welcome someone to come forward and tell us in more detail about Justice Wall and his experience. Justice Wall has decided to reserve that more formal, perhaps, although since I know who he has invited to do that, it may not be so formal after all. But we all wait to find out about that. And when we hold the in-person ceremony, we will welcome a speaker to introduce Justice Wall in the more traditional fashion. The governor has already given us some very apt comments about his background and his ability and his qualities. I would like to just add a little more detail to some of that. As the governor mentioned, Justice Wall is a native of Scott City, which I think now brings our count of the current court to 3 of us who are natives of what we truly can consider Western Kansas. I still think I'm the most Western, but Justice Wilson and Justice Wall certainly have right to claim the glory of being a native of Western Kansas. He then earned his undergraduate degree from Kansas State University, where he was a national debate champion and an All-American. He then earned his master's degree from the University of Minnesota, as you've heard, and his law degree from the University of Kansas, where he was Order of the Court. He clerked for Chief Judge John Lungstrom of the United States District Court of the state of Kansas, and also worked for this court as a special projects counsel and deputy general counsel. Justice Wall, as you heard, was in private practice in Colorado before working as an in-house counsel for Federated Insurance. Most recently, he has been in private practice in Kansas as a partner with the Forbes Law Group, LLC. In that position, he has represented county hospitals, rural healthcare providers, community mental health centers throughout the state of Kansas. He comes to us with a wide, as you can tell, and diverse practice experience. In his most recent role, Justice Wall has had the opportunity, or we have had the opportunity, to have him be an advocate before our court on a couple of occasions. Having witnessed the brief writing and the oral advocacy that he brought to our courtroom, we all know that he comes well prepared for his new position. And the fact that we've all known, most of us at least have known him for some time, gives us added assurance. As Governor Kelly said, we are pleased that he chose to return to Kansas, and we are pleased that he chose to move into public service for the people of Kansas. All of those people will, I think, feel very blessed to have the benefit of his service. I know that Justice Wall will work hard, be diligent. He will keep in mind all of those people that across our state, recognizing the personal situations that bring them to our courts of law. He will be fair and impartial, and he will be a guardian of the rule of law. No one can ask for more of a Supreme Court justice. We are excited to have him join us on our court. With that, Justice Wall, if you would stand, and please join me as I move around to the front of the podium. I will administer your oath. You would raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Justice of the Kansas Supreme Court, Position 3. So help me God. Sorry for that. It's important that I do this. Justice Wall, I welcome you to the lectern. As I do that, I am not going to pass this off, but I will give this to you later. But I do want to let you know at this time that as I welcome you to the court, we would like to give you a token of the symbolism of our court that you will find in here. It may, for you, be your first judicial gavel, unless a family member has beat us to it. But we want you to have a gavel with today's date to commemorate your first day on the job as the Supreme Court Justice for the state of Kansas.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't think my kids thought I would be official without a gavel, so I'm happy to have that. And thank you for your kind words, Chief Justice Lukert, and for all the colleagues that have come to share this day with me. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be a part of the team and work with everybody. But I promise to keep my comments brief today, and they're mostly comments of gratitude and thanks, because there are so many people to thank and not enough time to do it. But I would like to start with, as Chief Justice Lukert noted, the members of the Supreme Court Nominating Commission and Governor Kelly and her staff, who have placed their trust in me to serve as the next Kansas Supreme Court Justice. I also wanted to thank my law partners at Forbes Law Group and all of our clients who didn't have to be as supportive of me as they were, but they chose to be instead because they knew that this was a dream of mine. And I really appreciate all of their backing and support, especially when they didn't have to exhibit those characteristics. So I thank you very much. Most of all, I thank my family who they have to put up with me day in and day out. And they have also been extremely supportive, even after a 2,500 mile round trip that ended last night. So thank you so much for that. And when I reflect on the path that led to me standing here today, it really is amazing. And I truly am blessed because I've had so much support along the way. I think, you know, as a young kid growing up in Scott City, I was working for my dad at a hardware store, waiting on customers, and the community got to know me that way and supported me that way. You know, I've just been blessed to have that support throughout. And even in my practice of law, I've had incredible mentors along the way, too many to name, but they've included former Chief Justice Lawton Nuss, who showed me the discipline and the integrity that's required to be a Supreme Court justice. And from the very outset of my legal career, former Chief Judge John Lungstrom showed me everything about the practice of law and being an attorney and aspiring to be a judge, but also a family person and maintaining who you are throughout the process. And those folks instilled in me a belief that, you know, justice has to be accessible to everybody, and everybody that participates in our judicial system should be on a level playing field, regardless of their background. And the rule of law should be applied without any outside influence or external pressures or influences. And those concepts really are cornerstones of our judicial system. And my mentors instilled that in me. And my objective is to work as hard and diligently as those individuals did in my professional career in the legal system, and really devote myself to those missions as I begin my role as a servant for the citizens of our great state of Kansas. So thank you very much for your time. And like I said, I promise to keep it brief, and I appreciate all the efforts in an incredible, even if unconventional ceremony today. Thank you.
Again, Justice Wall, welcome to the court. We are pleased to have you join us and look forward to many years of serving with you. With that, I will now adjourn the special session of the Kansas Supreme Court.